Hey, Slick Talkers, thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. And I know that if you love this show, you'll also love my morning show called Good Morning Hospitality with my co hosts Michael Golden and Brandy Canali, as we spend 30 minutes every Monday morning to dive into the industry's top latest news and trending topics. So go check it out on wherever you find your podcasts at Good Morning Hospitality. And you can live stream with us on Monday mornings on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. Now, I hope you enjoy this episode. Hey, all my Slick Talkers. Thank you for tuning in every week. You guys are amazing. I want to make this episode really quick, and I'm going to try to explain everything here briefly. What you're about to hear is a second part to another show that I host, and it's called Good Morning Hospitality. I have two co-hosts who you've heard on this show before on Slick Talk, Michael Golden from NoiseAware and Michael Ross from bidroom.com. We all three just loved our episodes together and felt like we should continue, so we made this other show, and just really wanted to bridge that gap between vacation rentals and hotels. But we talk about industry insights. We have two morning segments where we jump into the Bidruption report with Michael Ross, who talks about startups of the week, events in the industry, and all sorts of crazy innovation that is going on, top news. And then we have What's With All the Noise, where Michael Golden will jump into certain topics or articles or other discussions going on in the space of hospitality. And then, of course, we talk on everything together and collaborate and put our minds together, really just on everything going on. But what you're about to hear is a second half of the episode that we just did with Leo Walton from Guardhog. You're going to hear Guardhog on Slick Talk again in the future, but we decided to bring them on to talk about trust and safety and how this is going to affect, going into 2021. So I'm putting it on Slick Talk for a reason, and I want you guys to, see other content going on in the universe of, pretty much everything Slick Talk and what I'm doing. But I would just love your guys' support and just going to like and subscribe, see the YouTube, like us on Facebook, all the good stuff. If you're not already following Slick Talk in general, I put everything on all our socials. You get daily content, weekly newsletters, all that good stuff. And I really would appreciate just any feedback and you guys, to go ahead and share the content that's coming out. So speaking of, feedback, I created a Slick Talk audience survey. If you could briefly, it takes 2 minutes, I think less than 2 minutes, to answer 6 questions that I've put together just to kind of get more information on what I could do better or what you guys are liking on the show. It's really important for me as I'm doing this full time for my day-to-day job to really understand how to provide value to the show and to you guys as the listeners. Now, I know I've rambled on for about 2.5 minutes, so I'll bear with me, but it really means a lot, and I am I'm just super grateful. We've been having the holidays here, and it brings a lot of gratitude to be able to do this and to be able to work with amazing people in the industry that just love doing what I'm doing and being a part of this whole content and media that we're creating. So thank you guys for just supporting this and being a fan and subscriber and just an avid believer in what we're doing here. So it means a lot if you could fill out that survey so I can get more feedback and to just amp everything up for you. I would love it. Thank you. Now enjoy this episode. You're going to hear the last half, so just kind of if you want to see the beginning, go ahead and just go to the links below, and you guys are amazing.
Welcome to Slick Talk, the hospitality podcast where we discuss all things hospitality, hotels, and business. You can find us online at slicktalkthepodcast.com and on every podcast listening platform.
Welcome, Leo. How are we doing today?
Hey, guys. Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. Thanks for having me on. How are you all?
Good. I'd first like to say congrats to Leo. He just got engaged a week or two back.
Woo!
Congrats.
Taking the plunge.
Well, I mean, look, someone said to me, you picked possibly the best time to do it because, your partner had just been through 6 months of lockdown, one of the worst years of all time, and pretty much just me to hang out with for 6 months. So, I think you got to pick your moment, right? You got to pick your moment.
The best as ever. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. But thanks. We're very excited about it. We're going to do something small, COVID compliant in the spring, and then probably have a big party in 18 months' time, where I fully expect to see Michael Golding dancing on tables till 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know about you guys, but I just think there's going to be a collective rush to just party so hard, and I don't know if it's going to come next year or if it's going to come the year after. But I just think whoever gets married or who has a christening or a bar mitzvah, who even knows, right? I think they're just going to be some wild and way long overdue social gatherings.
For sure.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more.
I saw Will directly smiling when it was at the what party. I saw the biggest smile so far from today. So I think we're all looking at some events and just having a drink and enjoy, right? And not have this constant fear. I think we're all looking for this a lot.
No, I think that's it, isn't it? I think that is. I mean, we're seeing it in our sector, right? You know, there's a lot of pent up energy around coming and having trips. All our businesses are seeing that: hotels, short-term rentals. I don't know about you guys, but every conversation I have with someone else on Zoom, which is just so boring now, speaking to your relatives in the evening. Sorry if any of my relatives are listening, but it is. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to go. I can't wait to come to, I can't wait to come to Europe, or I can't wait to go to Italy." And we just know there's going to be this complete explosion. And it kind of leads me on to say that, Michael knows this, but Will, I've actually never been to the United States of America. Unbelievably.
Wow. Okay, we got to change that. Once everything opens up. You're welcome. I'll bring you over to Seattle.
We'll do a live one somewhere. It will be fun.
Yeah.
In the same studio.
Yeah. Well, this is my way of saying, Will, Michael, can you guys put me up for free? I'll sleep on your couch. Like whenever. Yeah.
I got a couch right here.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Well, I wanted to just bring you. So we're talking about parties and the pent up building of travel and stuff, and so obviously Noise Aware with the noise detection and sound monitoring. Well, let's just jump into what GuardHog really is and what you guys do, because I think there's a good correlation there between Noise Aware and GuardHog and SuperHog and all the stuff that you guys are doing in the vacation rental space, and how that kind of plays into the partying and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it does for sure. Thanks. And again, I have the great fortune of getting to spend a lot of time with Michael Golding, because our businesses definitely overlap. We see risk in the short-term rental industry as being our business, right? GuardHog Technology is in the risk mitigation business. How can we make home sharing transactions safer for our property management partners, for our hosts, and for our guests? So, the COVID house party phenomenon has shown that actually the risk that everyone talks about, the headline risk is parties. And also there's, beyond that, there's the risk of personal injury in homes. And these properties aren't set up for personal injury claims just on normal home insurance. So that's, I think, where the two come in, is that there's an extreme party risk, which is definitely where some of the tech that we've built is trying to get ahead of that. And obviously where Michael's business is, where Noise Aware is, and then there is actually the liability, which is the big one. And both of those things I think have been increased during COVID times, especially because people are drinking more. The club is now the Airbnb. It's now the Booking.com, Expedia. People are not able to go out and let their hair down, so they're kind of doing it behind closed doors. And GuardHog Tech started life about 4 years ago. My sort of romance with the short-term rental industry goes back a bit further to 2012. I was part of the team that helped build and grow and sell One Fine Stay. So I kind of knew instantly, joining GuardHog, where we needed to be in terms of making sure we were dealing with risk. But we see our principal focus as being the protection. So that means paying out claims for damage and liability, but then also just removing risk factors in the first place. So partnering with people like Noise Aware, and also creating our own tools, which is SuperHog, to make sure we can reduce the risk by basically getting all guests to go through an ID verification and database check before they book, to make sure that they're not a problem guest that's had a party or caused deliberate damage or trashed a vacation rental place before they come. And that's what our Superhog product does. So GuardHog Tech is the company that sits above it. That's the insurance and the risk management. Superhog is the product. The idea being that we can help property managers and direct hosts get ahead of things by saying, don't take this guest because they had a party in Atlanta and they're coming to do the same thing in New York. So reject the booking.
So is that guest, is that Michael Golden, the one in Atlanta to New York? Was that him?
I couldn't possibly say. Well, I wouldn't want to, I think I've been told to sign something, so I don't tell stories, but yeah.
Okay, well, I was going to say, you were talking about him dancing on tables until 2 a.m., so I figured that'd be the party.
He has never been to New York or Atlanta, so he doesn't know.
That's true.
Maybe his technology does. Yeah, basically the way that Leo and I see it is how our products fit in together with one another. They can do the guest screening on the front side of the booking before the guest arrives. It's not 100% certain you're going to catch the person trying to throw a party, or even that just gets too drunk and makes decisions that they wouldn't normally make. And that's where NoiseAware comes in, is we're actually able to monitor the booking while the booking's in your property. And if that guest doesn't comply with rules, or the property manager reaching out to the guests even when they know something's happening, or they don't get out to the property fast enough, if this party went from 0 to 100 because they brought the club back with them, then that's where their insurance piece comes in, and they're able to cover any damage that might happen. So it really covers the booking from start to finish.
Yeah.
And as kind of talked about already, we're seeing that COVID's changed how people travel. So, people are making their bookings very last minute, which, makes everybody nervous. Slightly different, I think, for you, Michael Ross, Bidroom, but, it certainly makes vacation rental people nervous when they see a last minute booking, because there isn't that sort of check-in present. So there isn't someone to check your bags, take a picture of your passport on site. And, as a business, as a vacation rental management business or a direct host, we're in uncharted territory, I think, because in the time I've been in the industry, I don't think the guest has ever been the commodity. I think actually vacation rental managers and hosts have been desperate for properties. And now that you have to look after that guest, because suddenly with this really acute situation over the last 6 months, you don't want to lose that guest. So you want to take that last minute booking, but you may even be coming from a more localized source. So that's also another potential risk factor, is that if you might be staying in New York, but actually living in Long Island. I've completely made that up, but there you go. And then a vacation rental manager traditionally might have looked at that and gone, hold on a minute, they're only coming 80 miles into town. That seems a bit scary. Why are they traveling such a short amount of time? Is it for a party? So, with all those things happening, you have to have technology and devices like Michael's and insurance to make sure that you know which are the right bookings to take, and you can mitigate risks but still take bookings to make sure you're making money.
But do you use also for pricing strategies? So I don't know if you have this. So you're creating kind of profiles of people and say, okay, I know this is a good guest for a while, or he booked whatever X many times already, and it was always went okay. So can you do revenue management based on the profile, or more on the potential risk?
I'll take this one. So yes and no. I mean, you're not changing the price of the booking because they've already booked it, but you might insert a deposit or something.
Yeah, well, you would say, the deposit I get, but you would say, for example, when you're creating loyalty, you could think about loyalty opposite, right? And this is still, we're reviewing hotels or properties. We get comment. With the other side, I'm still curious why properties don't view the guest. So when you have a specific profile, whatever, it could be on our platform or whatever, even on Airbnb, is okay, this guest always was taking care of the property, etc. So you create a kind of a badge or level. So okay, if you're reaching this kind of level, you can get discount, or you're saving because you prefer to have those people in your property. Could be also a badge, for example, like for example, when you don't waste all the towels or whatever. So you get a kind of a green badge because it gives you something extra, a few extra points of loyalty. I'm just thinking, how can you use this data, for example, also just to drive specific groups of people based on pricing, whatever, to your property if you're looking at vacation rental? Of course, it's a privacy thing, but on the other hand, you would say, I will do everything to leave this property like a bit clean or take care of it, because no, next time I could get another property maybe for a better price.
Michael,
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think we always try and encourage our partners to put offers on Superhog as well. To incentivize those guests that are Superhog members, because like you should definitely be rewarded. But I think the more general point around loyalty is, we as an industry, people within the industry, need to do more also to feel safer with direct bookings, and knowing that your guest has been verified or is known to us, or you've contacted them and you've made an effort to turn them into a repeat guest, means you then can start to discount them as well, because you're moving them off platform. So that for property managers, that's also another way of doing it. But yes, you're quite right. When it comes to sort of being able to give people the benefit of our learning, then we always encourage people to sort of make offers available to people, because quite right, like, if you've stayed 5 times and you've been the model guest and you haven't stole the towels, then you deserve that towel money back.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, as like a previous,
people take it maybe more serious. You know that some people, when they go to a property or in the hotel, they're making a mess, right? They think we'll be cleaned anyway and there's no difference. And maybe when they see a difference later in the pockets, when they're getting a discount because they are creating more loyalty points, could be anything, right? Could be also that at a hotel, if we're looking at this industry, that's okay. I incentivize, for example, the guest to care of it, then use a hotel, I give them some extra loyalty points. But how can you incentivize behavior of people during this stay?
No,
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's a lot easier to do in hotels than it is in rentals. If I stay at the Marriott, 9 times out of 10, I stay in a Marriott, I'm traveling for work and I'm there for a night or two. I'm not making a mess. I'm not staying for a long period. I don't have 4 people packed into the room. But 50-50 when I'm in a rental, I'm either traveling for work or I'm traveling with friends or family. And I'm usually the one that books it, because everyone, assumes that I need to be the one that books it because I'm in the industry. I like to take the opposite stance. I try not to be the one that books it, but but depending on the group and what you're traveling for and how long you're there, like, one side of my family is terribly messy, and I don't want to be dinged for the rest of my 10 people that are staying in the house that aren't as clean as I am. And that's where it gets a lot more challenging in the rental side than on the hotel side.
And I was going to say, as like a previous hotel manager, we're so used to those like last minute bookings. But I know when I walk in the day, we have, 20 arrivals. That can change anytime. That will go up to like 50, And so with vacation rental management, like that mindset, or that like understanding, for me, like shifting into vacation rentals wasn't like being like, oh, we're getting a booking tomorrow. Like all these questions and concerns and like red flags that people, vacation rental managers that haven't been hotel side, weren't red flags to me, because at the end of the day, like I'm used to all that. So it's interesting to see how like vacation rental managers are actually looking at all this stuff, as in if it's within 48 hours, it's kind of concerning. When in reality, I think, like, as COVID, like we said, has sped a lot of things up, and we talked about flexibility and all this other stuff. I think we're going to see that to be, a very common thing. Like people are just going to say, you know what, it's going to become a very good like hybrid model, like hotel style transactions and booking like patterns. To me, that just is how I see it from being on the hotel side and vacation rental side. But I'm kind of
maybe a question for you, Will and Ross. The booking window has compressed by many weeks in short-term rentals. When people are in rentals, they're planning out 3 or 4 weeks in advance historically. Now, 8 out of 10 bookings are coming within a 7-day period. What has the booking pattern changed much in hotels? Do you guys know?
Yeah, a lot. We saw before, it was like people were booking in average like months. I think it was 2 months up front. We saw a lot of people booking, and now, like, just talk about 1 year ago, right? If you see what's happening now, everything is so last minute. It's all flexible. You just cancel. People are just booking multiple properties, multiple places. It's changing a bit. So your booking behavior will change. I mentioned already in the previous episodes, like you see the length of stay is changing. So if people traveling actually made a move somewhere else, you can see they just also want to extend their stay. As soon they just say this place is good, I'm staying here for a few days. Actually, I enjoy it. You can see they want to stay longer. And this is fine for us. We just don't take a margin anyway. You can deal directly with the hotel or with the property owner. That's fine. But this is what you see, what we can see this as well. So people first, they making maybe first small stay to see is everything good in there. And then they extend it for a longer period and say, okay, I want to stay here for coming weeks because actually I'm settled here. It's fine. Kids are doing homeschooling remotely using Zoom or Teams all day with their class. It's fine. We can, and it's also be nice in that different environment, right? People want to be somewhere else. So you still see that people travel, but it's just, of course, it's the booking window. It's last minute for sure.
I'm even doing the same thing with vacation rentals. Me and the girlfriend and her family wanted to go to Leavenworth for the weekend. So like we're randomly just picking up last minute days and times to go do these things. So like hotels is constant. Like it's never been for me. It's always been like there's always those spur of the minute trips. As a traveler, you're gonna see, but going to the vacation rental side too, I think like I was casual on Airbnb and we're like, all right, we're gonna go for this day, and I'm seeing a lot more properties even now accept like 1 night stays. There was a lot. They're like, oh, we only do 2 night minimum or whatever. So now it's like, hey, we'll take anything. We'll come in for the night. They're starting to let their guard down a little bit, but it's been interesting to watch as like both being in the industry and a consumer. But I actually had a question regarding for Leo and Golden for this like pent up like party, anticipation, right? That we're expecting. I think like, what are you guys expecting or like predicting anything for like when like vaccine is open or like the government is like, all right, we're opening up, we're going back to a normal in the sense of, not having to stay at home and be locked down? Are you guys expecting like a big, anticipation or even, a big amount of activity going on in the industry? Like, are we even prepared for that? That's why I'm like wondering as like an industry, are we prepared for these millions of people that are locked down? And like, I know people that haven't left for like 9 months. Like they've been at home and like maybe they've gone to like the grocery store. So I'm curious to see.
So are we prepared? I would say customers of Leo's and ours are much better prepared than others.
Yeah.
We saw after the first lift of the lockdowns over the summer, like a 300x of problematic noise events happening. And year over year, the amount of parties was like almost 50% increase, which is a decent chunk, but that's not even a full lift of lockdowns, and that's not even with everybody feeling comfortable. So we have started to see a little bit of a dip in the noise events. It really started September, October, which is historically very slow season in almost every market. But I'm super curious to see what New Year's looks like this year. I think by New Year's, people are pretty much either had it or just ready to let loose and have a good reason, good excuse to do so. And then once the vaccine comes out, you'll see people who haven't traveled in 9 months, who typically take 2 or 3 trips a year, who have now a lot more money in their pocket because they've been saving it, just doing things that they may not have normally been doing because they just feel the need to let loose so bad.
Yeah. Leo, are you guys seeing a lot on your end?
Yeah, we similar as you won't be surprised to hear. When we got a summer off, so to speak. The glorious days of July when we could sit inside places. Wow. We definitely saw a huge jump in bookings and then huge jump in attempted claims and issues that we had to get involved in. People getting carried away because again, there's this thing of there's the flashpoint has been lockdown parties for Airbnb, but the volume hasn't been there for anyone. So and I think I said it earlier, loads of people are saying, look, I can't wait to be, I'm going to get a group of my friends together. We haven't gone on a group holiday in 3 years and we're going to rent a villa in Ibiza. And we're going to let loose because we haven't partied together for a couple of years. And that is going to come with a lot of accidental damage. It's going to come with a lot of liability claims and people trip over, slip, and are generally using properties in a way that they weren't designed to be used. And I think, yeah, collectively, I mean, beyond vacation rentals, I think we are going to see collectively a big reaction, and people are just going to love having their freedom back. We're so not used to being in chains as people that, you know, we've all just adapted. But, you know, sure, what's the positive side of it? Well, I hear from everyone, the positive side is that I've got my savings in order. The positive side is I'm always on top of my washing. Well, I tell you what, that isn't going to cut it. As soon as we're allowed to go out and have some fun, that's not going to cut it. People are going to be like, I want to spend this money and I want to catch up with my friends that I haven't seen properly. And, you know, we all know what it's like now to have freedom taken away from us. So we know it might happen again. We know it might happen in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So we're going to make hay while the sun shines. So yes, it's going to come undoubtedly. And it's going to be welcome because that means bookings. So that's the thing about this. Like, I'm certainly not the fun police, you know, like I want the bookings to happen. I just want to make sure that there is this sense of community, which is what home sharing is all about, is the fact that people respect the fact they're in other people's homes. And there's ways that you can do that by making them do ID verification and certification and, you know, join your club. There's ways to keep them in line through a noise aware box, just reminding them that maybe the noise has gone a bit high. Like, there's things we can do to make the whole thing safer and make sure that everyone's having fun in logical ways. But again, it's making sure that people realize that the heart of vacation rental is staying in another person's space, whether that be managed by a manager or through a direct host, to the point where they shouldn't be trashing it. And it goes for hotels too, right, Michael? It's the same thing, isn't it? You know, you just want people to be respectful, and so we want these things to happen because we want the volume, but we just want it to happen in a safe way.
Well, I'm curious because, of course, one of the most things to people decide now is the safety, but it's also, of course, is like the people who stayed before you, they were not like having a quarantine party there, or they were in quarantine, or they had Corona before, so maybe they touched everything and etc. So this is still, and of course, I saw some initiative of temperature checks and everything before you arrive into the vacation rental property, etc. You think there will be, of course, yes, of course, noise and everything can be measured. I'm just thinking, how are you going to adapt, for example, or just check, for example, the temperature, or you can check that the people staying there they were safe, they didn't have Corona, the people who stayed before you, because that's, I think, holding a lot of people, right? When I'm talking to my wife, she would go somewhere, even renting something, she would want to clean everything because maybe the people before, in this case, they might had COVID. So this is something also in place, like, okay, how you can reduce this risk?
Yeah, I think there's 2 ways of doing it. One, a lot of managers are already building in an extra day for their turns because extra cleaning. And then another simple thing that I've heard some people doing is leaving a box of Lysol out and letting, if the guests, you know, have high touch surfaces and you don't know if you want to make sure 100% that it's been cleaned, here you go. Like it's been cleaned, but to put your mind at ease, feel free to use this.
Yeah. And it just comes like, I think, Leo, when we were talking prior to this episode going live, was, you know, we talk about trust and safety. And I think when you talk about, you know, barrier to entry being a little bit higher with just, you know, verifying ID, then of course, I think of my clients, like the homeowner themselves, the people that own the asset, right, that we get to use and make a lot of money on. You know, there's a big trust side of things when it comes to, you know, saying we do, you know, verify and vet our guests properly and use resources like SuperHog and Noise Aware in the property. And this, like, we have all these certain barriers in there. And then of course, now, like we saw in the very beginning, you know, March, April, and into May, vacation rentals, not like only hotels, like Hilton did their super clean, you know, like verification, like seal on the door, like where it's like, you know, you just now opened it and it's, you know, you're the first one to enter since housekeeping left. And we're seeing vacation rentals really do that. Like Michael was just saying, you know, doing extra stuff, adding a day between bookings. And then of course, for your own safety and comfort as a guest, to say, you know, here's Lysol, just in case you really just want to have that peace of mind for yourself, which then again, it goes back to the same topic that we bring up all the time, is flexibility and comfort and safety. I think they all kind of tie together. If you had a thread and you put all those words in line, you could really connect them with just understanding that trust, safety, and then of course, peace of mind, that they all kind of apply together with flexibility for the guest and for the client who actually owns the asset, whether it's the vacation rental company or the actual homeowner.
I think that's completely right, Will. It's making sure that you're doing enough as a business to make your host feel comfortable. It's making sure you're doing enough to make your guest feel comfortable, and that you are taking your responsibility seriously. In 2019, that wasn't COVID. That was just parties and things like that. Now COVID is an extra element of that. And yes, it needs to be something. I know there's some good businesses in the space helping people write cleaning checklists and protocols and things of that nature. I think all of that is really, really necessary, because yes, it's all about, if you are a property manager, especially, you're the point in between guest and host. So you're trying to make both of them feel really comfortable, because comfortable hosts unlocks new supply and new supply opportunities in growth areas. Supply acquisition, traditionally always the biggest hurdle for any growing property management company. And then, as you say, making sure that guest feels comfortable, that sort of seal of, okay, this is approved, and I know this listing is real. I know that the host I'm not going to turn up and the host isn't going to say, actually, it's a container ship outside the back. You're not actually in the apartment, you're in the freight. It's all part of the same game, and it builds authenticity. And that's what all of this stuff's about, building authenticity and building professionalism on both sides.
I agree. Awesome. Well, we're getting to that time in the episode where we wrap things up. We throw out any, shameless shout out plugs of, upcoming events or, stuff like that. So Leo, I'll let you take the lead on this one. And I want to show this for the audience, this awesome Christmas version of Guardhog logo, just because I think it's great. But Leo, we'll let you take the lead. What's going on with Guardhog, like coming out in, obviously we're getting close to like the new year and Christmas and all that good stuff. So I'll let you go ahead and take the microphone from there.
Thanks, Will. Yeah, so I'd say we know it's been a rubbish year to say the least. So we're offering £10,000, which is in today's money about $13,000. Although who knows, when we finally leave the European Union, that catastrophic error, it might be $20,000. Who knows? But assuming all well there, we've got £10,000 in our promotion called Boost 2020 to offer to property management companies to give them a hand getting back on their feet after COVID. So it's basically we're just looking for people to email us and tell us why they think their business is worthy of getting the boost. I think there's also some smaller packages as well that you can get. So the big prize is 10K, but there's some smaller ones too. And look, we just want to hear from you. We know it's been a bad year, and we've got this budget to give away as a prize. So we're really happy to do that. And then another thing we'll be doing as well, just to make things a little bit easier, right up until the 31st of March, we're going to offer anyone who joins Superhog the first 60 days of membership is free. That's for a direct host or for a property manager. So they're my shameless plugs.
That's awesome. Awesome. I'll let you take it away, Michael, from NoiseAware.
Yeah, so we're coming off of a record Black Friday for NoiseAware and rolling into Cyber Monday, and it's already off to the races, which is really good to see. And now's the perfect time to get it right before New Year's, especially.
Yeah.
Alluded to earlier. So it's historically one of our best weekends, and it's certainly proven that again this year.
Woo! Awesome. And Ross.
Perfect. Well, I think I always say that Bidroom, we are the good guys in the industry helping everybody, but Leo seems to be a good guy as well in providing. So no, I think it's nice what you see. I just shared last time already a promo code. I think it's still valid, so people don't have a Bidroom membership and they want to travel again. And yes, we also have vacation rentals and hotels. We have it all. MRFP20. So you can still use this promo code till today. So be quick. I will just extend it for a week. So people just listening a few days later, no worries. MRFP20. So free membership for Bidroom. But yeah, I think it was a nice episode. Great, Leo. Thanks for joining and. Yeah, let's stay in contact. I will apply for the 10K, or I can't apply for it.
if you write a good enough case, I'll consider it. So let's hear it.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for obviously taking the time on this awesome Monday. Thank you, Leo, for being on the show and just talking about all the things Guardhog. You guys are great. Love working with you guys. And we'll see you guys next week. What's up, everybody? If you've gotten this far into the episode of Slick Talk, the Hospitality Podcast, then you are amazing, and thank you so much for tuning in. We want to send you two places really quickly. If you can, check out the show notes and click the hospitality.fm link. Check out all of our other shows on the podcast network. And don't forget, if you have someone that you want to hear on the podcast, then fill out the guest fill out form so that way we can get them on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy another episode of Slick Talk, the Hospitality Podcast.